Hi, here's a short video on how to change the font size or any characteristic of your drawing sheet format. The drawing sheet format is that template that your design, your 3D model is housed within. So it's the border, it's this title block that you can see on my screen right now. As if we look at this drawing of the connecting rod, which we did in chapter 1, we can move our mouse around and we can select things like the views and change those, or change the location of a dimension, and make any kind of edits that we want to our 3D model definition. But what we can't do is go down and select on a word inside the title block. For that matter, we can see in this case, the file name is way too large for the cell known as drawing number, where we want that name to appear. So how do we change that? Double clicking doesn't allow us to do it. Right clicking on the word doesn't do it. What we have to do is we have to tell the software that we are no longer working on our 3D model and trying to create a drawing of that, but we want to work on the sheet format and edit the format of our drawing. So how do we do that? Well, one way is to look on the left side of the screen where you see the feature tree, and you'll notice one of the items in the tree is the sheet format. If you right click on that, the third choice down says edit sheet format. So that's one way to get to the editing of the sheet. Another way to edit the sheet format is to look for a white space in your drawing. That's an area where there's not an existing view or there's not an existing dimension. And if you right click about a third of the way down, you'll see where it says edit sheet format. When you select that, either from the feature tree or this pop-up menu, don't panic, but your design, your 3D model, will be completely removed from your drawing. It's not really removed, it's just suppressed or hidden from your view. That's so you can go and edit the format without the drawing part getting in your way. You'll also notice that the borders, which were gray before, are now dark black, and you're able to select the border or select the labels for the format. You're able to select the lines that make up the title block, or for that matter, any of the text in the title block. And more importantly, in this example, we can double click on that file name and edit it as well. And so I'll double click on it. And as soon as I do that, a formatting menu pops up where I can now go and change the size of that font. And you can see that I can even do things like change the width of the cell that's going to belong to. I'll probably regret doing this because it's going to not be the way I want. But ultimately I can move and get the thing set up the way I want it. You'll see what I'm trying to do in just a second. Got to move it over just a little bit more that way. Center it in this one, right about there. And say, okay, I'm good with that. Let's close this window out. Sure enough, now I've got my font appropriately sized within the cell called drawing number. How do I bring back my 3D model and go on about creating the rest of my drawing? Same way I got rid of it. I go and either right click on sheet format on the left hand side of the screen, or right click on a space, an open space where I'm not selecting something on the sheet format itself. And when I do that, you'll see that there's a cell called edit sheet. So I'm switching from editing the sheet format or template to editing my sheet again. And then my design comes back up on the screen, and I can go add new dimensions, relocate these dimensions, change the shading, do all the other things that are described in chapter 2 of the textbook. And again, if you want to look at written instructions on how to do what I just did, you can look on pages 70 through about 75 of the textbook. Describes how you can go and modify or edit the format for your drawing sheet as opposed to editing the 3D model definition. Hope you found this helpful, and we'll see you in class.